from ERA Reardon, Jenna Chmielewski. Hi, Jenna.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, and Jenna was one of the 87 people that told me I made a mistake with Heather Reardon's birthday. But
well, you came to it first. I wasn't going to say anything. It's your show, so I wasn't going to do anything about that. But I'm glad that we were able to do that. But like I said, you are not the first one to call her that, nor will you be the last.
Well, and
they're both great Heathers.
They are both great Heathers, and Rick and his parents watch every day, and I appreciate that. So, well, maybe we'll send over a cake.
You should.
Yeah.
You could send one to the brokerage office too, just in case you're feeling.
Let's send. Can we send Heather a gift? Would you take it back to the office?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So
most of it should make it back.
This is for Heather Reardon. For happy birthday. Happy birthday, Heather. All right. Make sure it gets to her. I'm going to check.
I will.
All right. Okay. So spring fever means time to start getting excited about real estate sales.
Yes. I definitely have spring fever today. On my way here, for a minute, I just stood because the sun was out and it was warming me up. I had to get a little bit of that natural vitamin D that we all have been itching for. So yeah, no, it's been great. So there's a lot of gloom and doom in the news about the housing market and how things were going. And some of it was fueled by, you know, the rising interest rates. We saw above 7, and that scared a lot of people because we had that weird circus, freak of nature, 2% interest rate. But the nice thing is that we're noticing a downward trend. They're consistently getting a little bit lower. So I'm seeing high 5s, low 6s.
Oh, really?
Yes. I have a buyer right now. He actually got 5.5% on his mortgage locked in.
So that's the sign that the banks, the lenders are predicting and anticipating that what goes up must come down.
Absolutely. And it was funny. We saw normally the worst time of the year where I see the least amount of activity is right before school starts and then right after school starts, and then it picks back up again. This year, it just seemed middle of December, first half of January, everybody was in hibernation. It was crazy. But then as interest rates have gone down, boom, it picked right back up. I had a listing, and it was in the higher range. We had it for $359, and I had 17 showing requests.
Oh my gosh.
We ended up getting 4 offers and settling for $17,000 over. And it was kind of blast from the past, which is great. So the nice thing is right now for someone that's considering selling, the buyers are slowly coming back. It's not the crazy bidding wars that we saw.
The inventory, the supply of...
But the inventory is still low. So if you're thinking about selling in the next 6 months, I would say sooner than later, because we're only seeing inventory climb and it's basic supply and demand. If there's not much competition, you're more likely to get purchased.
Oh, well, that makes sense. You brought some things, some show and tell today. Let's see.
I'm a data girl. It's so funny. So many people ask me, "What do you think my house is worth?" I'm like, I need to do the research. I don't like throwing numbers out, so I put numbers together.
Jenna's the Commodore at Clark Lake Yacht Club.
No, I was the social director.
Social director.
Yes.
Yes, but it's just one rung below the Commodore. But we'll look at some of the happenings of Clark Lake in just a moment, but let's see.
So this is all for Jackson County as well. So the median sales price, this is from January 2020 to January of 2023, and it's still going up. Now you can see the last few months on this graph have taken a little bit of a dip, but it's still very strong. There's still a significant amount of growth. And again, this is for Jackson County.
I always thought, you know, the holidays, people, you know, the homes were decorated. They didn't want to, you know, it was a very disruptive to have home showings and to be looking at. It just seemed to me that would be a kind of a low downtime?
It normally dips a little bit, but not as much as it did this year. It just seemed that, and we had a major snowstorm, so I think that was a big aspect of it.
Yeah.
I really do.
All right, so new listings there. Ooh.
So new listings really have plummeted. And again, we've got that demand. And that is why, again, it is a great time to list your home right now because you don't have as much competition. And so, again, supply and demand, that typically drives the price up. Days on market. This is such a fantastic graph to show the craziness of where our market was. So you can see the second half of 21 is where, that's where you've had all the bidding wars and things were getting off the market in 24 to 48 hours. Now, what you've seen since about January last year, it's leveled off. So it's not the circus it was. It really has leveled off, and you'll see on the next one, more showings as well. So it's good for both buyers and sellers to be able to take a breath. So dollar volume of sales, that little bottom dip there in 20, that was May or right before May when everything got shut down. Only essential people. Some people were still buying, but we were limited to showings. Then when they opened up the doors, it was the floodgates, and literally this steep climb is what happened. And when we had the 3% interest rates, 2% interest rates, it jumped. And you can see that January 23 is a little bit of where it was January of 22. So prices have gone a little bit, which is going to happen because the interest rates are higher.
Yeah.
The affordability changes.
Makes sense.
Yep.
All right, now, shall we go to Clark Lake now? Let's go to Clark Lake.
Go to Clark Lake.
Did you jump in the lake?
No. So I had the very important task of filming. So I was the team player in filming it with all my clothes. But this is our awesome ERA team. Kat Stewart, one of our newer agents, she was pivotal in getting this team together. The guy in the white t-shirt, that's actually my husband. And my husband's been talking about doing this for years, and he finally did it. And you'll notice here he knocks Kat in. Because he's such a good guy. Yeah. But this was such a phenomenal event. They raised over $48,000
$48,000
for Special Olympics. And in typical Clark Lake fashion, the jumps didn't start till 2. The drinking started before noon.
Yeah.
And I think it continued till noon the next day. That everybody was kind of making the rounds. They stayed at the Nest for quite a while, and then they went to the golf course, and then they went to the beach bar. So,
all for a good cause.
All for a fantastic cause, and I stayed relatively warm.
Well, it actually was a cold. It started to warm up just in time for the plunge, but a couple days before it was so cold, and we were worried that there wasn't even going to be any ice to make it look like it was cold.
I know. And the next week was supposed to be the hockey game, the annual hockey game, and I'm looking at that lake while I'm at the Nest. I'm like, where are they going to play? There's no ice. And Mother Nature willed it to happen, and we got that huge cold spark. And it was on our side of the lake this time, because I'm on the east side. I'm on the Ocean Beach side. So
people that have not familiarity with this hockey game, it's like it's one side of the Clark Lake against
Court,
the other.
which is the east side of the lake, versus Eagle Point Road, which is supposed to be the west side of the lake. Which really Eagle Point's the middle of the lake, but it's a good divider. Yeah. And so each year we take turns on which side of the lake that we play, and it was on our side, but Eagle Point Road won this year. So
who won?
Eagle Point Road. So the west side won.
Yeah, I saw some photos, and you can see them on Clark Lake Spirit, which does a great job of tracking everything. And I mean everything that's happening.
Rick is everywhere.
If you hear sirens, or you hear a crash, or you see a strange bird, Rick will investigate, and it'll be in Clark Lake Spirit.
It will. It will. Everything's there. So yes, we haven't had any of our ice racing. Normally that's happening. So maybe if we get in, with all this thawing, it probably won't happen. But if we get another cold spurt, maybe we'll have that. Still ice fishing galore. There's so much that goes on all year round. The Nest is still doing Thursday night acoustic nights there. And then this summer, I'm so excited. We are going to be back at 5 nights a week live entertainment. The Nest is 3 nights, and the Beach Bar is going back to 2 nights.
All right, that's awesome.
So we'll have lots to talk about this summer.
We will. Thanks for all the updates.
Absolutely.
And good to see you.
Good to see you.
From ERA Reardon, Jenna Chmielewski.